It has now been over a month that I have been playing my Nintendo Switch 2. I recently put out a video with my thoughts on it, my review about 2 weeks ago. But I kind of wanted to go more in depth into my personal opinions on how my experience has been so far and more personal anecdotes on how I think the console is going to fare. But yeah, I just wanted to talk some more personal anecdotes, personal experiences with it, just kind of give an insight of what it's been like for this month so far. And I'll start right off the bat by saying it's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun with this console. I've been playing a lot in handheld mode, and actually I'll start with that. Handheld mode has been great. I've been mostly playing in handheld, mostly because I've been traveling a lot this past month, and I also take it to work too sometimes, so it's been kind of like my go-to machine to kind of play games. It's kind of overtaken my RG35XX in that department as well, because I haven't really been playing that as much. But one thing I have been noticing playing a lot of handheld is that a lot of complaints that people are having about the screen have been slowly creeping up on me. Mostly the ghosting for the panel that I have, the screen that I have, it's been a little bit more visible recently, specifically with Bowser's Fury. I've been playing that a lot recently, and I get through play sessions where I'm playing, let's say like an hour 30 minutes, and towards the end my eyes are like kind of hurting because I can see the ghosting just very minimally, but it gets annoying enough the more that you play it. And I'm kind of worried that it's going to ruin my experience, and it sucks because you just get this console, you paid a lot of money for it, and you're kind of already thinking about the next console that's going to fix it. Like I'm already thinking about wanting to buy a Nintendo Switch OLED just because it's the screen still looks good, the colors in my opinion still look really good, the 1080p is a very welcome change, but it's just the Switch OLED just looks really freaking good. That screen just looks really good, and yeah, you do get a lot of benefits over it, but then you can just really just imagine and say to yourself, man, I wish this was an OLED. Because Nintendo already set the precedent of putting OLED screens on their console with the revision of the Switch OLED. So I mean, I know I'm starting with a nitpick, and that one has been kind of one that I didn't experience much of it at the beginning. Like I didn't really notice it, but once people started pointing it out, and I've been playing a lot more, longer periods of time, I had started to notice, and it, I am worried about it ruining my experience playing. But other than that, it's been a blast playing in handheld mode. Yes, it looks better than the first Nintendo Switch, the original launch Switch, and obviously the graphics are very much improved. I mean, I've been playing a bunch of Switch 1 titles that have been upgraded for the Switch 2, and it does feel like a brand new experience to me. I mean, it really is a lot of fun. Other than that, the Switch size itself has been a very welcome change. I love the size of the Switch. I'm waiting for the Satisfy grip to come out. I think it may have just been released. I don't know, but I'm buying one as soon as I can, because that is like one of the things that I wish that they also did was have a little bit more ergonomics with the back of the Joy-Cons. I think that would have been a very welcome change to make them a little bit more grippable. But I'm going to get a Satisfy grip, so that should alleviate that whenever it's made. And the Joy-Cons size difference also is a big welcome change. I love the bigger size of the Joy-Cons. They do feel much better. Other than that, I'm just going to kind of go into the games that I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild, a lot of Tears of the Kingdom. Those are the two that I've been playing most recently. I've been playing a lot of Bowser's Fury, a lot of Mario Kart World, of course. I just bought Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2. I didn't even know that they had that released, and it was on sale. I got it for like $2. I wanted to play a lot of Scarlet, but I haven't wanted to start a new save. And I've been playing a lot. I've been replaying a lot of The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. That's been a lot of fun to itch my Game Boy needs. those are pretty much all the games that I've been playing. Really, is the Zelda games, Bowser's Fury, Mario Kart World. I've been playing some Tetris, as always. Still my go-to whenever I'm bored. I think they just released Strikers onto the platform, so that's probably going to be one that I'm going to try to play online a lot of, because that is one of my favorite soccer games ever. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. It's kind of been revitalizing. I think that was the most important part about this whole situation with the Switch, is it needed a facelift, especially for the handheld department. Yeah, the OLED is great. Yeah, the OLED works. Yeah, the OLED looks incredible. But the the Switch 1 internals were really showing its age. It overstayed its welcome. To be honest, they should have announced the Switch 2 back in 2022. It's been 3 years way too late for this console. And I hope they don't take too long to make the Switch OLED. Realistically, I think that would be a very, again, welcome change. At this point, it's hard for me to talk about things, because what can I say that hasn't been said? I already talked about the screen, Joy-Cons, the body of the console. This console does need a lot more support. Donkey Kong Bonanza isn't going to cut it. They need a lot more games. And I'm really worried that they're going to go the Sony route and just not put out games, because Sony can afford it. Third-party games are going to come in and save Sony's ass from being a boring console. Because you can still get your Souls likes, you can still get your FPS games, your Call of Duties and your FIFAs and your Maddens. Like, the casual audience is still going to gravitate towards getting a console for those games. Those games are always going to sell, and it's always going to be on the most popular platform. The Switch and Nintendo do not have that added benefit. They do not have that added benefit because this is a niche console. This is a niche, like, no matter how popular the Switch 1 was, it never had a Call of Duty game. It never had those popular third-party games that people flock to get. And do I think that they're going to support it now that it's a little bit stronger? Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they'll support it for like the first 2 years, and then once, developers start to outgrow this console, or the PS6 comes out, it's going to be already two consoles behind in terms of power. Who knows? But they need to be spitting out games. They need to be putting out remakes. They need to be anything that they can put out with their IP, with their name on it. They need to start spitting those games out. They can't do what they just did with a launch title, and then a month and a half in, a follow-up title after that, and we don't know anything that's going to be coming out. I think the only thing we know officially confirmed for this year is Metroid Prime 4, maybe? I'm going to look that up. Oh, and Pokemon. I think that's it. And then a remake or whatever. They can't coast on these Switch 1 games. I mean, unless they want to like deeply discount a lot of the Switch 1 games and sell them for $30-$40, which would be honestly a great idea, because you get a lot of the people who didn't play your Kirby Forbidden Kingdom, or a lot of people that didn't play the Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Games like that came out towards the end of the Switch life cycle when people weren't really paying attention to it, and just sell them for a discount and just say, hey, we got a free remaster for these games. Here, you can get them for cheap, and then that's it. Because you need a reason to want to play these kind of games. And they really need to keep adding these GameCube games. I really don't know why they only have these 4. I mean, I know it's going to be building out, and I know that they're slowly trickling out the releases for the GameCube games. But I don't know. They needed to start off a little bit stronger. It does feel, I know that I adopted the console, and I know that this is kind of like an early adoption period for me, because not a lot of people have bought the Switch 2. I know that the sales are incredible, but I don't see a lot of people in my circle, a lot of the casual audience buying a Switch 2. At least not within the next year. I know that they're going to be waiting for a lot of games coming in the future. It does feel very Like Nintendo's in a position that they're very complacent right now. It feels like the same attitudes that they had with the Wii U, where they were riding high on the Wii. They let the Wii stay for way too long, and it took way too long to make a new console. Because I think they released it 8 years after, maybe 7, because I think 2005 to 2012. Yeah, so 7 years. The Wii was already an outdated architecture, and they were building upon that same exact architecture for the Wii U. And everything was too expensive. 3DS, too expensive on launch. The Wii U, too expensive on launch. Nobody bought it. And it feels like it's a lot of the same things, yet they're in a better position now because people are still, they're still able to ride off the success of the Wii. But that's what happened with the Wii U. When the Wii U launched, most of its sales came from the initial sales. Like it like flew, jumped off a cliff. And I'm kind of worried that the Switch 2 is going to do that. Switch 1 was an extremely novel console at the time, and not a lot of people had a lot of faith in it. But it launched with arguably one of the greatest games of all time in Breath of the Wild. And then shortly thereafter, one of the greatest Mario games of all time in Mario Odyssey. And not saying nobody really cares about DK. I'm sure that a lot of people do, and I'm sure that the game's going to be incredible. But it didn't feel as novel as it does during the Switch 1. Like, nobody really cared about the games that came out in the Wii U era, even though they were great games. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is a great game. 3D World is a great game, but there was not that defining game. And Mario Kart World, I mean, it's a great game, and it's definitely genre bending with the whole open world aspect and changing the aspect of how you connect these worlds together. But am I gonna sit here and say that it's a genre defining game or a console defining game? I don't think it is. I don't know. We'll see. I know that this seems very negative. I am having a lot of fun with my Switch, I will admit. It's been a blast. I'm taking it everywhere. And I really haven't had any major problems of my own. I think it's just really when looking into how the landscape of this console is going to look like in the future, I am a little worried. And only time can tell. All I can say is that, what I've been saying in the past, for people who are considering getting the console and they just want an upgrade from their Switch, this is it. This is it. This is a great upgrade from the Switch. Yeah, the screen kind of stinky poopy, but it's still good. It still looks great. It's still much better than the first. It's still the first Switch, the launch Switch, because that screen is straight up doo-doo garbage. I hated that screen so much. And 720p is definitely not it. 1080p looks dope, feels dope. Anyway, that's enough of my ramblings. I am gonna play some Strikers. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. If not, tell me why. Thanks again for watching. Have a good one.